let's continue the levity, because this is a laugh protest, not quite a riot. Please welcome Emmy Award-winning comedy writer, and he's the author of the best-selling book, It's a Funny Thing, our friend Mike Rowe.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I like how you throw it to me, kind of like the throwing it to sports. You know, here's Mike with the sports. Hey, 27 years. I always wanted to be I wanted to be an AM DJ. I just wanted to be, hey, it's 92 degrees right now. Super Sam Saga to tell you 27 degrees in the city right now. We got the stacks of wax for deals and jacks and late sounds of great sounds. Sounds that turn you on before she turn you down. They're betting the kissing booth at a fountain of youth. It's young folks, old folks, young. Coming at you 1972 Chicago. 66 NBC.
Right. I remember that. That's great. I remember that. Oh, my God. How are you? How are you holding up?
I'm just hoping someday there's a day where I feel like wearing pants. That's all I'm hoping for at this point. Let's look at your apartment this visit. Let's see. Oh, it's so the hurricane came through the apartment? Come on, no, it looks nice. I didn't recognize it without the price tags on everything. I don't know what I'm saying, but that doesn't matter, David. Doesn't matter, right?
It matters.
We got a COVID thing. The COVID thing, at this point, I'm just staying emotionally distant.
You're staying
does that
work?
It keeps me safe emotionally. It doesn't break my heart. That's all. Because it's killing me. And I'm telling you something. I'm okay now. I'll tell you something, but I've been putting on weight since the pandemic, the smallpox pandemic. This is I like doing the comedy half sentence after the joke. But by the way, too, since I'm here, this is good to bring this up. You have to be careful of the vaccine. Still, I mean, I'm not a conspiracy person, but got the vaccine went in my kitchen past the fridge. All the magnets came at me.
So you got the Moderna. That's the Moderna.
Yeah, that was my favorite movie by. Anyway,
you're magnetic. You're even more magnetic than you already were.
Well, the secret is staying busy. You know, Johnny, I'll tell you, I'm okay. I'm still working. I'm very excited. I think I told you this, but the backup camera in my car got a second season. I started a Viva Viagra cover band. We'll be on the look for our Working Hard tour.
The Viva Viagra, they're great. Well, I see them on MSNBC. I see them on Fox. They are something else. They really are great. Hard rock. They play hard rock.
Well, the groupies are happy.
Yeah.
What else I've been doing? I actually got out. I did get out. I went to the museum to see a showing of the Vincent van Gogh. Well, it was actually Vincent van Gogh's lesser known brother, Jerry Van Gogh. For anyone,
Jerry Van Gogh, yeah,
and a thing for everybody over 50 who will get the reference.
Right. He painted Coach, I believe.
Yes.
And he played Vincent's younger brother, Stacy.
That's right.
The Vincent van Gogh show in the 60s.
That's correct. What are you listening to the game while we're on? What's happening over there?
Jerry Van Gogh. That is, you know what? That makes me so happy. It's like, it reminds me, like, if I smoked dope, that I'd be on the floor all day from Jerry Van Gogh.
But doing heroin, you just kind of lean back.
Jerry Van Gogh.
If I talk about I'll talk about my book for a second. By the way,
it's a funny thing how the professional comedy business made me fat and bald, a comedy memoir. And again, buy the book. If it doesn't make you happy, I will reimburse you. I promise you. I will reimburse anybody who buys the book and writes to me and said, this doesn't make me feel happy.
And if you read it and you don't feel happy, you roll it up, shove it up your ass, and you're happy. Anyway,
now you should get remember when you were buying suppositories?
Yes.
And they weren't working.
That was my birthday.
Yeah, you were buying, and the doctor said,
What's up?
He said, what's up? He said, are you taking these suppositories properly? And you got insulted and said,
I said, I don't remember the joke, Doc.
No, I'm shoving them up my ass.
Don't
you remember that joke?
Right, that's nice.
That would be a fun thing to do, is to get some street jokes. Anyway, we'll talk and just turn them into conversations.
I think, what if you had a doctor as a guest and he did doctor jokes?
But he doesn't tell us that he's doing doctor jokes.
Right. He goes, like, I have
Dr. Mike Rowe. What's it like these days with COVID? And, what are your patients like? What do they ask you? What does everybody...
The last guy that came in, kind of heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I told him to drop his pants, go towards the window, and stick out your tongue. He goes, is this a test? I said, no, I don't like my neighbor.
It's tough. What's it like giving bad news to your patients? I would assume.
Well, there was
you have
one guy.
How do you break it?
I told him he had 6 months to live.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't pay his bills, so I gave him another 6 months.
Wasn't there? I remember I was making the rounds with you at the hospital, Mount Sinai, and you had to break it to a man in the waiting room that his wife survived this horrible accident.
Well, that was one of those unfortunate good news, bad news moments. You know, it was the whole family. They had the dog with them too.
Oh.
It was an aunt and an old lady who was randomly with them. And I said, I got good news and bad news. I said, your spouse is not going to make it. And she said, what's the good news? I said, see that nurse over there? I'm screwing her.
That kind of eases the pain.
Yeah, they cry 1 second and the next minute they're laughing.
And then they're happy. It's life affirming.
It's like the better version of the Robin Williams movie where he's dressed as a clown. A Catskill comic to show up and do shtick.
Right.
And,
But in all seriousness, we're joking around. You do have a medical degree, and I used to make the rounds with you when you were at Mount Sinai. And I remember there was a woman who was in a horrible, horrible car accident. And she broke her legs, her arms. She was completely paralyzed from the eyebrows down. And you had to go sit and talk to the husband and tell him what was in store for him for the rest of her life. Do you remember that story?
You might have to refresh my memory.
I was there and you let me see this. I said, this is just, I've got horrible news for you. Your wife is going to be confined to a bed for the rest of your life. You're going to have to wash her and bathe her and feed her and change. Do you remember this?
I mean, it's a common thing, but I don't remember this one specifically.
You know what you said? His name was Mr. Geldfarb, and he said, "I've got horrible news. Your wife is going to be confined to the bed forever, and you're going to have to change her bedpan and wash her and clean her and wrap her and unwrap her, and it's going to be 24 hours of taking care of her." And Mr. Gelfarb said, "This is just terrible." And you said, "I'm just kidding. She's dead."
Oh, I don't remember that one.
You don't remember that?
No,
and the guy said, "Oh man." He was so, that's the best way to tell somebody that.
I get that. It's in truth now, and it's in my book.
Yes, it's a funny thing. The best-selling book. It's a funny thing.
I told you the other book, The History of Crazy Glue. It's great. I can't put it down. Look, I've done those jokes before, but look.
Wait a second. I thought The History of Crazy Glue was written by Seymour Hare.
No, I'll think of something funny later.
Oh, he wrote Cellophane Bikini.
I know you're crazy, but now I can see your nuts. Is that the subtitle of it? I'm not sure. So people should know and be refreshed. Now, this book, this is the truth. Like, first of all, if anyone's interested in the comedy business, show business, and especially, young people in their hometowns are like, I could never do that. I don't have the wherewithal to get out of my hometown. But I was that person. I was this little schmuck in my hometown, and I kind of mustered the courage to chase my dreams. And that's kind of what you can do when you read this book. It's hopefully inspirational, not just about show business, but like why not go after those goals that you thought you could never obtain? Because if I could do it and reach some success, maybe you could even do better than me. Pick up the book. But in the book, I talk about, trying to figure out how to, a lot of times, work with my idols, like comedians who were idols.
You're embarrassing me. Mention somebody else. Don't embarrass me.
Oh, you can see I'm not wearing pants? I'm sorry.
No, you said that you got to work with your idols, and now you're on my show. But I'm a humble guy, so bring up somebody else. Who else did you get to work with?
I wrote on the Martin Short show, and Martin Short had a 5-night-a-week talk show that came on late 11:30 at night, and at some places in the middle of the afternoon. And it took a minute for Martin Short to learn he's used to doing sketches, and that was his comfort zone. And he had to kind of learn how to figure out how the nightly show works, because there was just not enough time to shoot a sketch every night. So we had to come up with the sort of talk show thing that, like the refillables, like Letterman's top 10 list, and that sort of stuff, sort of the quick stuff. So I brought to the show with me something I stole from myself that I did on another show. And it was a list thing. And it was things you'll never see, right? Just things you'll never see. Like a T-shirt that says, "I heart the Crips." You'll never see it. So because it's not very challenging, the writers were mad at me every time that they said, "All right, guys, we got to do things you'll never see." And they'd roll their eyes at me. And then when I brought it to the Martin Short show, especially after figuring out they couldn't get a sketch done in time, that would be the dreaded Michael Short, Martin's brother, would come to the writers and say, "Okay, guys, we got to do things you'll never see." And everybody rolls their eyes at me because it's not challenging. So to prove it, 10 minutes before I came on air, I wrote a short list of things you'll never see.
Things you'll never see, and you wrote this at the last minute.
Right, just to prove my point that if there's no challenge. For example, things you'll never see. Betty White at a cockfight. Right?
That's perfect. Yes.
Right.
She's an animal rights person.
Exactly. Joe Biden doing the crate challenge. That is weird stuff. That is things you a Nicki Minaj moo-moo. Minaj moo-moo. Something you'll never see. That is
never.
Cats 2.
I didn't even see Cats 1.
No.
Cats 2. We're never going to see that. Never, ever are we going to see that.
Cats 1, audience 0. I think was the review on that one. Things you'll never see. A carpet warehouse in Encino called Afghan Stands. Stands.
Maybe you would see stands Afghans, but not perhaps. But this is something you would never ever see. Never.
Things you'll never see.
Great. This is important. This is you're actually providing a public service to people because, you know, Donald Rumsfeld always talks about the unknown knowns and the known knowns. This is stuff that we are missing out on. You're telling us that
I'm saving people who might go on a journey and go, I want to see Betty White in a cockfight. Let's go find it. And if they had this information, they would know, well, they're wasting their time.
Yeah. Anything else? Other things?
I got one more little one here. This is a thing you'll never see. Billy Porter Jr. I got him out of the business. Are you working? Am I right? Am I right, people? Oh, Christ, I'm a stick.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
So the summer, it's August in LA. Best time to visit, right?
Yes. The holidays are here. You know why? The pumpkin spice, everything is already coming out.
Yeah.
Then comes right after Halloween comes what? Mother's Day?
Hypoglycemia.
Oh.
Do you celebrate Halloween? Do you have fond memories of Halloween? Did you ever get dressed up?
Halloween, I used to go to Times Square and watch him throw a ghoul off a building at midnight. For a half hour. I don't even know. What is it? Sometimes you talk and strike joke. You don't know what happens.
Do you miss Times Square before you were married? You used to work in Times Square. I'm being serious. Do you remember that you used to work in Times Square?
Yes. It's funny. I was just there with my sons. I hadn't been there in a while.
Did he see your old mop from Show World? You used to be the mop guy at Show World, I believe.
People don't. Again, it's in the book.
Dennis
This is
Miller.
true.
Hang on. I think I just stole a Dennis Miller joke.
There was. I remember going to this is true in the book. When I have a background in electronics. I didn't go to I went to high school for 2 years and then went to shop for 2 years because it was deemed that I was not college material. So I went to vocational school. From there, this is true, all in the book, worked for NASA on a space shuttle out of high school.
What? No, seriously.
Yeah.
You worked on the space shuttle?
Yes. In Danbury, Connecticut. We built these components called transducers.
Hey, watch it. We don't call them that anymore.
Oh, we fixed they.
Right. Transducers that sounds like something you would see in a bathroom no.
It's what I saw in Times Square, which is what we're getting to. They don't know what's true anymore, though, as I'm talking about this. Because I did work on the space shuttle. In fact, when I interviewed at Futurama for a job with Matt Groening and David Cohen, among other things, the second they heard I worked on the space shuttle, it was like, your office is right over here. Come on, so.
Then you told them it was the Challenger.
It was the one where the tiles fell off.
I remember that, yes.
But I made these components called transducers, and they took fuel and air pressure, converted them to digital readouts, and I had to put them under these test conditions. So I would, put them in an oven at 4,000 degrees or freeze it at, 5,000.
You did that?
And then I had to record the data, put it into a computer, and then it would tell me what corrections to make in the circuitry to keep them within their proper tolerances.
I'm in awe. You're telling the truth, right?
Yes.
Wow.
I worked. I worked in this tiny room with these two Vietnam vets who had no sense of humor. So that was rough.
What happened?
It was a microscope.
They lost their sense of humor in Vietnam. You would think you would come back from Vietnam laughing up a storm.
Well, was that? Never mind. Um, but, I like we had a microscope, and I put a little sticker on it that said "Peep Show 25 cents." And they didn't think it was funny. And it's true. We would make this.
This is in the book.
Yes.
Right.
We made this glue, this special, NASA specific glue that you had to go into a dust-free room. You mix the thing very specifically, and it was only good for like 9 minutes, and then you had to throw it away. And I'm carefully with the dust-free robe making the glue. I bring it in an office, and I'm putting Q-tips and sticking them on the wall, on the ceiling, throwing them up. That was my. They didn't find the humor in that. Anyway.
And quite frankly, either do I. Did I serve in Vietnam? If I don't find that.
Well, this is close.
Vietnam finally came to an end. This podcast is a quagmire.
So in the book, this is true, and it gets into the gritty details of, because of my electronics background. My day job when I was doing stand-up was I worked for an audiovisual repair rental place, and once a month I had to go to the porn theaters in Times Square during the height of that porn.
Yeah, refresh my memory. What is a porn theater?
It would show movies. Mm-hmm. It would have like those old school 16 millimeter, the whirring like any number of the sex, I don't even. They could have been all the same movie with different titles, but then.
So that must hang on. So people used to watch porn together,
yes,
as opposed to alone. Why don't we bring that back?
When COVID's over, I can make some calls.
Yeah, I would love to watch porn with other guys. That would be,
This was 11:30 in the morning.
Even better.
And when I came into the theater, the projectors would go off, and then a live show would start on the stage on this little. It's like this nasty little theater, 1980s, like live bedroom acts, which I thought like a lady would come out and change linens or something. I was,
at my age, that would make me hard.
So, like, for example, it's true, like, projectors came off, woman comes out dancing. In the audience, it's like 8-10 people. There's like a homeless guy, some, bridge and tunnel people. There was always like a Wall Street guy, suit, briefcase, always in the, and the woman bikini comes out, dances, takes off the top, hands it behind the curtain, takes off her bottom, hands it behind the curtain. And then the next woman comes out to dance, and she's wearing the same bikini. She just handed it off through the curtain. And the woman, it's like 2 naked women in 1 bikini. It's true.
Wow.
And then like the exterminator comes on the stage and sprays. This is all really documented in the book if you want to know what New York City was like in 1981.
So the exterminator would come on, and guys watched it? Like, get ready for the exterminator.
It did sort of come in the rhythm of like, come out, dance, strip, go on, come out, dance, strip, and then the exterminator come out and spray and then walk off.
I got to be honest, you don't know about my problem in my apartment, but I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure if the exterminator at Show World was any good, I would get off.
Mm.
If I could see him actually filling the holes. And
those were rough roaches in there. Like they tried the Roach Motel. Remember the Roach Motel?
Yeah, the Roach Motel, yeah.
Not only did they check out, they stole all the towels. Am I right? Anybody? Roach Motel, 1980s. Nobody.
They still have Roach Motels.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I believe they're called La Quintas. You can still buy. Believe me, I've been buying Roach Motels.
In New York City, I lived there at my apartment. Man, it was in Midtown. It was a studio, but it was $340 a month. That same place is $3,000 a month.
Right.
It's actually it's 2 rooms. It's a bathroom and a fire escape. You got to lean in, right? When you on the punchline, you got to. Anyway.
Well, this is. How's your mother?
Good. I'll think of something funny later.
Good. This was,
so-
this was amazing. We needed this. I mean, it's anyway. Especially you had to follow one of the saddest, most depressing. Thank you for coming on. We'll do. You're still going.
What's that?
You're still going through your mom's stuff, right?
I'm still going through. Maybe I'll find some more footage at some point.
No, I meant like what fits, like what you're going through your mom's stuff, and I want to know what fits. Maybe you can pass some of it to me.
I see. Well, I'll send you the Nicki Minaj moo.
Mike Rowe is the author of the best-selling book, It's a Funny Thing, How the Professional Comedy Business Made Me Fat and Bald, a comedy memoir. And it is a bestseller. It really is.
It was doing nicely. It would still pop up once in a while to the top something 100 or 30 or whatever. I don't know how it works, but.
Wow, that's fantastic.